Hey guys, I think this is like my third video I've recorded today. Anyway, so we got a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the V6, not my wife's, this is a different one. And this one had a code P0128 in the computer. And if you look that up, I think it's like thermostat improbable or thermostat value improbable. I'm pretty sure this would be a classic case of a stuck open thermostat. The vehicle is not overheating, so I think it's probably just stuck in the open position, either permanently or sporadically. So let's tear into it. Okay, so the first step is to have the owner of the vehicle remove the plastic cosmetic cover because I don't want to be the one responsible for breaking it. So we'll have the owner do that. Whole cover.
The whole cover?
Yeah, whole thing's got to pop out.
Well, now what? Just lift it up?
Yeah, kind of. There we go. We didn't break it. Good job, owner. All right, so now we got to take this long, funky tube out. I'll take the air box out. This is just to get space to work. So I'm going to take this clamp off at the air box. I'm sure this air filter has never been cleaned, so we'll take a look at that too. Right? Never been changed, right? Never been. Also going to undo the clamp back here, but that one's a different size, I think, so we'll have to get a different nut driver. Got my stumpy screwdriver. Just going to undo this hose clamp. I think there's another bolt somewhere holding this thing on. Got to check. I'm going to undo this sensor harness here. I believe this is an intake air temp sensor. It should just pop right out. Hopefully I don't break it. So there's positive retention on this. And a lot of times these get brittle with age too, so I'm not gonna mess with that just yet. Let's get this thing out of the way. And where are we held on here? We have, might just be, where's it held on? Let me dig into this a little deeper. All right, so we just kind of pop this up. Now it's loose. We have it loose on the throttle body as well. It's really just being held in place by this harness, this clip here that we'll probably have to cut. Unless we can give ourselves enough room to work like this. Probably not. Those things are a pain in the neck. Let me see if I can get my Christmas tree fastener puller and yank that out without breaking any. This is what the Christmas tree fastener puller looks like. You can get these on Amazon. They're not that expensive. They are quite handy. There we go, and it broke. So, never mind that. That gives us a lot more room to work. Let's see. This can slide off here. Maybe we'll just leave that hooked up and situated like that. Leave it out of the way. Let's see, get you guys a little closer here. So the thermostat is right under that little plastic housing right here. So to get this apart, looks like we have maybe a 10 millimeter with a Torx with a female Torx top and bottom. Looks like we have a little bleed cap there. And that whole thing is sold as an assembly. I don't think you can buy the thermostat separately. So here's the new one. I'll zoom out a little bit. So this is what arrives. I'll give you guys a link to this thing in the description. You can pick it up on Amazon. I think it was maybe 40 or 50 bucks or so. A little more expensive than just a thermostat, but it is what it is, right? So let's get some tools and we'll take that apart. Okay, got my 10 millimeter and I got a plier to take off this hose clamp here. I think we're gonna put a bin underneath the vehicle to catch some of the coolant because I have a dog out here and dogs like to eat everything, and coolant I'm pretty sure is toxic. Or we just put the dog inside. What do you think? Should we chance it, Greg? I know you like to chance it.
Probably dog inside.
Dog inside, okay. Okay. Anybody want to take any guesses or make any wagers what percentage of the coolant will actually capture? I'm guessing a small percentage. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah.
This hose is a little swollen. Hate it when that happens.
That's what she said?
Yeah. She does say that from time to time, doesn't she? Sorry guys, you're looking at my elbow here. Got it starting to piss already. And Mr. Greg is going to be kind enough to adjust the position of, ow, damn it. I just bent my fingernail back. That's going to hurt later. Look at that, guys.
It's got an umbrella policy.
Oh, jeez. That hurts. Look at this.
Ooh.
Man, how did I do that? Always breaking nails around here. Sounded kind of girly, didn't it? Thank you so much. Get ready. She's gonna blow. Did we catch any of it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, most of it.
Good. It's not my first rodeo. All right, let's take the thermostat housing off. Again, 10 millimeter, top and bottom. One. They're not on there that tight. I don't know the torque spec off the top of my head, but I'm sure you guys will ask, so I'll look it up. That's really gonna hurt. Do you have any insurance, like work comp or something? No insurance?
Working at your house, dude.
But I'm working on your car.
Talk to my attorney.
Oh, good. Let me know what he says. Just a minute. You know, you lock the door when you're shooting these videos, and you think people would respect that. But not so much, really. Uh-oh, hang on. Take 5, guys. Got coolant hands. Okay, old housing is out. I got a Band-Aid on my thumb and gloves on. You're always supposed to put gloves on after you need them. So now I think that this here, this little screwdriver thing is probably for a bleeding system, but I don't think we'll need to bleed this. So this just unscrews with a screwdriver. Notice I'm taking it out of the old one just to make sure. And I think what you can do is you can bleed air out of the system with this. Now they make vacuum bleeders and all that, but I don't have one of those, so I'm just going to chance it with Greg's car. This way when it happens to mine, I'll know if I can get away with it. So, all right. Out with the old and with the new, right? So let's loosen this bad boy. Loosened. Gonna loosen the radiator cap as well. And we're gonna put this back on. Where'd I put the bolts? There they are. Okay. So let's put this on here to minimize coolant loss. Yep, we still loose them anyway. Take the old seal off because that kind of stayed in place. And there we go. And again, these bolts get tightened to 9 foot-pounds. They look like they have brass inserts inside the cover here, or some kind of metal insert, because you know plastic threads will never take 9 foot-pounds. You hold on to this, make sure I don't lose that, Greg. It might become important at some point.
May or may not be able to do that.
What, prevent me from losing something? Yeah, not possible. Okay, so we're tightening this bad boy up. Then we'll get our torque wrench and torque them to 9 foot-pounds. 9 foot-pounds it is, boys and girls. I say girls because my daughter joined us. It's a pretty strong 9 foot-pounds. It does say 9.
Front door's open.
You want to see Valentina? There we go. 9 foot-pounds. Let's put our hose clamp back on. They're always fun to do. Right, Craig?
Pretty easy.
Yeah, you don't struggle with these?
Never.
Okay. Now we can put some coolant in there. I wonder, since we don't have a pressure bleeding system, I guess we'll put some coolant in the radiator, and then maybe I'll try and get a funnel and pour some in there. It's probably not going to matter though. We're probably overthinking this. Okay, so I'm pouring some coolant into the radiator. We put that cap back on the thermostat housing because coolant started to leak out. I don't think we're going to need that pressure bleeding system because if you look at the housing, or look at the thermostat in the housing, real carefully, where my thumb is, the thumb I broke the nail on, there's a passageway for coolant to bypass the thermostat, I think. So if we just wait a while, I think coolant will slowly drain back into the cylinder head. You don't want the system to be full of air when you do this, because air doesn't cool cylinder heads. And I realized I didn't have my microphone on, so you guys probably heard none of that. Sorry about that. You can't fix stupid, guys. Still adding coolant.
Just trying to force bubbles back to
Yeah.
the surface.
Because again, I don't own a pressure bleeding system. All right. Okay guys, we got the radiator full of coolant. I think what we're going to do is we're going to just clean things off in here, spray it off with the hose, get the coolant off so we'll be able to see any obvious leaks. We'll crank it up without everything fully put back together, just to see, make sure we don't have any leaks and see how fast coolant is drawn down here. Because again, we don't want any air in the system. I noticed when we were moving stuff around that this piece here was broken. There's a little tube that goes all the way over there. I think it's something emissions related. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, so it came over here and there was a break right at this connection right here. So for now, I just taped it up. I'll look up that part number online and see what it is and see what it costs and how difficult it is to replace. Again, guessing it's emissions related, but not 100% sure. Looks expensive, Craig. I don't know. I don't know if I can afford that.
That's why we taped it.
Yeah, exactly. Kick that can down the road. Okay, we're going to start the vehicle and get some coolant circulating. Go ahead and start it, Greg. So I'm going to be watching for the coolant in the radiator to drop down. We kind of just got everything kind of temporarily hooked up here. Nothing's put back in its permanent location. Put the radiator cap back on because we're filling up a little bit here, maybe. If I start to see this rise too high, I'm going to put this cap back on. We don't want it to overflow. And these V6s warm up pretty quick, but we don't want it to get too hot because we want to make sure there's coolant in the cylinder head. We're going to let it run for a minute or two. We're getting pretty close to operating temperature, and I think the thermostat's going to open any second. You can see this thing kind of twitching a little bit. Coolant hose is warming up. We should start to see air bubbles come up, and then that should just drop. Then we'll add some more coolant. I don't think we lost a whole lot, though, to be honest with you. Maybe we'll catch it dropping on camera. Maybe, maybe not. Should also see a little steam eventually too if we let it get hot enough. Yeah, the upper coolant hose is getting warm. There it goes. It's a dropping. I see some bubbles. And this hose should heat up pretty considerably, pretty quickly. Hopefully you guys saw that drop. I think our thermostat is open. Let's pour some more coolant in there, bring it up to the top. While spilling as much as possible, obviously. Let's see if our lower radiator hose is warm. Warming up. We're getting there. I really don't think you need that pressure or vacuum bleeding system. I think it's just a load of malarkey. Yeah, that upper radiator hose is nice and hot now. Check the cylinder head temperature. We're up to 185, 186, somewhere around there. I'm gonna go check the temperature reading in the vehicle, see what that says. Okay, the vehicle says we're almost at operating temperature. Still seeing a couple bubbles come up here. Leaking a little bit. I think we'll put this cap on soon. I think we might be done here, boys, other than putting that contraption back together. Sorry, how rude of me. I meant boys and girls. All right, we got the vehicle up to operating temperature. We verified the upper and lower radiator hoses were warm or hot, really, to touch. We saw some steam come out of here. I don't know if you guys saw that, but some steam was coming out of here. That indicates that hot coolant is coming past the thermostat, going through the radiator, and going back to the motor. We had the cooling fan come on, so yeah, I think we're good here. Any remaining bubbles that are in the system, which should be minimal, will come out over the course of normal driving. So now it's time to put everything back together. So that means we got to get our little stubby screwdriver there. We got to put this back together. But let's check the air filter while we're here. So the owner claims he's never changed the air filter. Said differently. That's not exactly how he said it, but I'm just translating for you guys.
Slander spoken.
Let's see what it looks like.
Audience.
That doesn't look tragic.
Told you.
That's not bad, Greg. Come on. Little trick I'll show you guys to clean these things off without buying a new one. This is just to get kind of the grit out. Just drop it on the floor a few times until all those grid patterns come out. They say you shouldn't hit it with compressed air. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, probably wouldn't hurt anything, but there's not a lot of stuff in there. This air filter is pretty clean. Put the air filter back in.
You know, apologize to me publicly while you're on camera.
I'm sorry, Greg.
Yeah.
I had so little faith in you. I assumed that you changed it, or assumed that you didn't change it. You kind of deserve that one, though, right?
Yeah, it's fair. I honestly don't remember if I changed it or not, or when.
I'm pretty sure you did, because again, that's something that I would have told you about. Whoops! Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. I dropped you. So let's get this bad boy back on there. Just like that. And we'll tighten down our fasteners. What are you guys even looking at? You're probably not even watching me. There you go. That's better. Sorry about that. Tighten these down good and tight. We'll put a zip tie on this Christmas tree fastener that I broke for Greg. No charge. Make sure this clamp is all the way on the throttle body. You don't want this one to be loose or partially on the throttle body, because then you're sucking unfiltered air in. And now, if you have a high mileage vehicle, it might be a good time to clean the throttle body. It's kind of a pain in the neck to remove. A lot of stuff you have to kind of in the way here. It's not, I mean, it's not tragic. It's not as bad as taking off the intake manifold, which I had to do in another one of my videos, where we replaced the spark plugs and also the engine mounts. We had to take the intake manifold off to jack the motor up for clearance to get the motor mounts out. That was loads of fun. So if any of you guys have a Grand Cherokee of this vintage, you might want to check your engine mounts and see if they're leaking, believe it or not. Engine mounts can leak. What are we forgetting here? I don't think we're forgetting anything. I do have to look up this part though. I think I owe Greg a replacement. Who needs zip ties? Look at one just to be safe. Although, what would we zip tie it to?
It's fine.
It's not gonna.
No, it'll be okay.
It's fine with me.
Let me look up what that pipe is and put that in the video description too, in case somebody else breaks it like I did. I'm sure I can't be the only one in the world that breaks parts, right? You break stuff, right, Greg?
Never.
Never? Oh, I guess I am the only one then. All right, so this hose that broke off, this is actually a purge hose for the evaporative emission system. So I think I said that before. I think I was right. This whole hose has to be replaced to the tune of about 30 bucks. So if this becomes a problem, this will very likely set a check engine light. So I think we're just going to wait for that to happen before we go spending money needlessly. So we'll kind of situate it so it's not a lot of stress on it. But yeah, so I think this repair is done, guys. Not much else to show you. If we do have to replace that hose at some point, I'll shoot a video on that too, because I'm sure I'm not the first one to break something. All right, guys, if you liked the video, please subscribe and stay safe.